Money FM 89.3, the best of the afternoon update.
Welcome to Industry Insight, where we bring you insights from industry leaders shaping the future of business and technology. And today, we're diving into the exciting world of advanced manufacturing, specifically in foam, film, and elastomer solutions. Well, Singapore has long been a hub for innovation in manufacturing, and our guest today is very much part of that transformation. She's a second-generation leader of precision engineering manufacturer Armstrong Group, specializing in noise, vibration, heat, and safety management for diverse industries, including automotive, consumer electronics, industrial, and many more. Let's speak with Phyllis Ong. She's right here in the studio with me. She is Group CEO of Armstrong Asia and chairperson of the Singapore Manufacturing Federation's Women in Manufacturing Committee. Phyllis, great to have you on the show.
Hi, Lynn. It's a great honor to be here.
Welcome, welcome. Now, you're in the business of customizing foam, film, and elastomers used to reduce noise, heat, and vibration. So I understand you took over the CEO leadership position in 2020. So from the time Armstrong was established till you started working, in this business, how has the industry evolved?
Well, my parents started the company back in 1974, and back then there were not many good quality solutions because the industries, like you look at the consumer electronics throughout the region, back then there were a lot of Japanese customers. So the options were mostly kind of more like trading. So what my parents did was to buy a lot of these end products, including for buses back then when it was nation building time, buy from Germany, buy from Japan, ship over here and all that. Then over time, we find that there's a growing industry in Singapore and Malaysia. So what my parents did is try to learn how do you produce these kind of customized parts? Because, if you buy everything from overseas, there are still products that's needed for noise, vibration, and heat that you need to cut the foam in a certain way. And so to buy from very far away to ship over here doesn't make economic sense. So they started to learn to do these kind of processes. I wouldn't call them high technology. It's really just simple processes that allow the customized shape and form to be able to fit into the final end product. So those were the days in the 70s and the 80s. And then in the 90s, as you can imagine, Southeast Asia, China, they were starting to grow, especially Southeast Asia. And back then in the 80s, my father was able to impress the world's biggest tire maker, which is Bridgestone, to have a partnership. So we were buying materials from one of their division, and then the Japanese veterans felt that my father was a very trustworthy man, and he said, hey, is Bridgestone open to a joint venture? Because for Armstrong to open the door of a lot of Japanese OEMs, we don't have that credibility. But the moment your name card says Bridgestone Armstrong, suddenly, all the Japanese men would say, okay, out of respect for such a prestigious company, I'm willing to open the doors.
Yeah, it puts you right up there.
Exactly.
With the big boys.
We started to serve a lot of Japanese consumer electronics brands, all the Sony, Toshiba, Panasonic, Mitsubishi, all the doors were open. And then the Denso, the Toyotas, etc., they were also open to meeting my father. So we grew from Singapore to Malaysia to Thailand, and then even in the 90s, China. So back then, not many competition. It's a well-established business in Japan and the developed markets like Europe. But in Asia, not that many. You have some, but not that many. And a lot of the local makers, even if they were able to do these processes, the challenge is that they are not well organized in the quality standards, etc. So the good thing is what my father and his team back then did was quickly to establish the necessary requirement from the customers. So everything was very customer focused, and whatever the customer want, my father just said, okay, as long as the margins are fair, let's just do it. So we invested a lot into ensuring the standards were able to qualify, and our people were all very committed. Every time the customer called, we were there. So there's no, what my father would say, the comfort level provided to all the customers were tip-top. So we grew, and by now we have 8 factories in China and 8 factories in Southeast Asia outside of Singapore.
Amazing. Wow. Okay, I want to ask about the digital transformation part of things. How is that impacting your industry, the foam, film and elastomer production industry?
Okay, so digitalization in the last 2-3 years of our company is the number one most crucial and pivotal area of transformation for Armstrong. Our customers, you're talking about BMW, you're talking about Mercedes-Benz, Audi, Dyson, Roland, Shimano, all the brands that people know, right, including medical companies.
Very impressive.
They all are requiring a lot of risk management, and also customers are clearly not willing to pay for waste because it's so competitive even when they're big brands. So digitalization allow us, as part of digitalization, not only in setting up very good quality ERP system, which is the basic operating system, but you need to now look at integration of different software, what they call applications architecture.
Right.
So I'm also learning all this new language that we are required to do, as well as the infrastructure. And now with cloud technology, things become possible what they were not in the past. And then things like cybersecurity affecting risk management for big companies is very critical. So today, I would say that for any company that wants to grow with big boys, right, you are supplying to the big guys like what Armstrong's doing. If you are still not actively engage in the process of digitalization and investing beyond, example, IT manager, and you think the IT manager can just sort out your laptop, we are very way behind. The complexity of what in our term we call it information and digital technology, right, has evolved, right, to become something that if you are not linking your operations to all the other functions and making dashboard, what we call BI or data and business intelligence dashboard, available for your managers to see live data, to make timely decision and high quality analytics, you may end up putting your organization at a risk that customers will no longer be able to depend on you to be part of their future.
Wow.
It's a very serious threat. It's not just maybe I can be more advanced. It's not. It is essential that all leaders be able to commit some time to learn and work together with your IT leader who I'm going to say, please don't engage someone and just expect that the person will know everything. It's a very complex so-called function.
Of course.
So my function in our company has almost 30 people dedicated to just IDT, excluding vendors. So vendors is another area. So it's a very big investment, multi-million dollars for us every year.
I see. And not to mention that you have to constantly keep up with the rapidly, developing technologies, right? Because there's so many things happening every day. You just really got to keep up or fall behind.
Yes.
And of course, there is sustainability, ESG goals to consider as well. How do you approach that?
ESG goals in our industry, primarily the biggest guys under pressure will be the big OEMs, right? The big brands, because they are huge, they are billions of dollars, they have the largest pressure. Then they will cascade down to suppliers like us. So on our number one priority in the area of sustainability, because it's so huge, would be things like, number one, environmental. So some of our material options that we are providing to customers in the past used to be, you give me the specs, I will look for the material. But today in Armstrong, every time a customer look for material options or product options, it is mandatory that we will also, as a voluntary effort, to provide them with a greener material. So a greener material becomes, well, if you have the budget and you think that that will also help you to achieve your organizational sustainable goals, please opt for those options. So from our angle as a tier 1 or tier 2 supplier, we cannot dictate because it is a fact that greener materials do cost more. But in the whole scheme of things, organizations also need to be more and more responsible, because if not, Mother Earth is paying the price and future generations will be paying higher and higher price for these things that we are not doing responsibly. So we need the big guys to lead the way, and for us, we follow, and overall, as you would probably know, a truer cost of business and products should be responsibly taken care of.
Phyllis, I think a couple of years ago, you said in a Business Times article that your vision is to collaborate with diverse talents and organizations from around the world to grow the company into a scalable, world-class manufacturing platform. I think you've certainly been very successful in positioning Armstrong as Asia's leader in this B2B space. Has that vision changed?
No, this is a vision that I believe will be even beyond my time, and it is starting to see very good results. So maybe I give you a little bit on the purpose behind this. Number one, what my father has always told me is that even though he was not fortunate enough to have parents who were wealthy, but being a Singaporean without money, without much education, we're able to do a lot of things because the country, the government has helped us to build a very good reputation around the world. I think everybody now today, you hold a Singapore passport, people do respect you just because you're Singaporean, right? And being a Singapore company, we've benefited a lot from this. And when we interact with our international customers from US, from Europe, etc., Australia, and even the so-called, other countries, I think as our vision is to be Asia's gateway, we found that Armstrong, being a Singapore company, becomes a very trusted Asia 101. When they deal with Singapore company, other than being able to speak English relatively well, they also find that they are reducing their risk if they're able to go through a Singapore company.
It's true.
So what happened for us is that both me and my father feel that when we do that, we not only promote Armstrong, we also give back to Singapore by promoting Singapore. So it goes both ways, where we are leveraging off the platform of being a Singaporean company, but we also promote why they are able to trust Singapore company better.
Okay.
So through that, we are able to sell better to the Asian countries.
Phyllis, we're celebrating International Women's Day this Saturday, right? And you're a trailblazing leader in a traditionally male-dominated industry. You're driving sustainability, smart manufacturing, and cutting-edge material science. Have you seen the role of women evolved in this industry?
Yes, I'm very happy to see that there are more and more female leaders, and importantly, it's not just about having more female at the table. It is very important that, especially for Singapore, we know that it's an aging population. There's really not enough leaders in the first place to prepare us for the future. So what I would say is that I would like to encourage more women. Most of the time, we do not step up enough. We always ask why rather than why not. So I would like more women to continue to ask themselves, why not? Why is it that I'm not able to do that when I actually can? So reduce the shortchanging of our own capability. We are capable. Let's step up and contribute to this small little red dot.
Amazing. Very, very inspiring. If you didn't know, Phyllis has done consulting, marketing, high fashion tailoring, and even managing a vegetarian restaurant. Thank you very much, Phyllis, for your insights today. I'm very, very happy to have you in the studio. Phyllis Ong, she is Group CEO of Armstrong Asia and Chairperson of the Singapore Manufacturing Federation's Women in Manufacturing Committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn.
To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.